Oh, morning, folks. Here we are with Sunday morning coffee. Thank you for joining me. Another unique trait of today, I reckon, is Father's Day. There's a bunch of rotten sons of bitches out there that don't deserve the notation of father. And there's a bunch of guys that get to play mother and father. And there's a bunch of women that get to play mother and father, as far as single parents go. And they're just regular old dads. Get my children this weekend. We celebrate my daughter's 6th birthday. Her birthday was the 9th. I did not have her last weekend. Getting the family together on a weekday ain't happening. So we're going to have grandma and auntie and uncle and cousins. It'll be a good day. So, little Miss Ivy is officially 6. Blows me away. Oh goodness, did you get to go fishing last week? First real actual trip. We tried it once and weather did not cooperate. Man, there's new stuff on the horizon. We're going to see how this shakes out. But I'm really working hard towards the FIFO principle. We're always going to have the revolving work that pays for the day-to-day structure of the business. We have the big jobs that are supposed to be getting us ahead, essentially. Or at very least getting us some notoriety, right? In bigger jobs, I'm working on the first in, first out principle. I'm so far behind. It's going to take a minor miracle to get this money out on time. Doing what I can. It's coming along in leaps every day. I got my nephew down here part-time helping me as well. The kid's amazing. For all he's been through in the last couple of years, he's got a good head on his shoulders. I'm proud of him. But he comes down and tears stuff apart, or I can leave him alone like I can leave Jeremy alone. Now all of a sudden I'm free to work on the gigs I got to get out. For all you blokes out there that are running alcohol, though, I got an issue, I got a question. I need to sort this damn thing out. The E85 carb I built, it's all good. It's a good build. I mean, it's a Holly. It's really hard to fuck those up. So this car, I'll give you the basics. We got it all on there. We replaced the plenum gaskets because there's 2 on this one, because there's a gasket, a plate that holds the linkage, another gasket, then the carb. Checked all, there's like 5 vacuum ports total, brake, PCV, and everything else is stopped up. It's not running a vacuum advance because it's set up basically like a race car engine. E85, go figure, right? Racing fuel, mechanical fuel pump, racing fuel pressure regulator. And my mind keeps going back to the pressure regulator. We were missing a part. They called it a spring guide. Basically, it's the little cap on top, or washer on top of the spring that the set screw pushes against to open or close the valve to regulate the pressure. I'm going back there. I'm going to go back there again. It's been fixed. All the pieces that are supposed to be there are there now. But this thing will fire up. It'll run from 30 seconds to 30 minutes, depending. I don't know. The owner had it running for like 10-20 minutes before I had showed up this last Friday, before we stopped over to give it a final wrenching on. I just figured to adjust some needles and adjust some timing, and we're off to the races. We got the timing set about 1200. This is good enough to be able to hear everything and have a stable platform to set it off of. And then it revs up to like 1800 and dies. That's what it does. It'll start up, it'll run a minute, rev up and die. It almost sounds like it's a lean issue, like it's leaning out, running out of fuel. And I don't get it. I don't do racing engines, so it's not like I'm embarrassed. Oh gosh, I don't know what's going on or any shit like that. And anyhow, to be embarrassed by what you don't understand or don't know, that's folly. We never grow if we get embarrassed by little things like that. But I don't know. I don't know the system. I've become relatively familiar. You know, E85 needs greater volume, needs greater flow, hence the jets and everything are oversized. It burns cooler than regular gasoline. You know, basically I read the Cliff Notes. But yeah, I'm drowning over here, and this poor owner's ready to push it out in the street and set it on fire. So if I can get some guidance from you cats that are running alcohol, that would be amazing, because I keep looking at the regulator, looking back at the regulator, and here's why I keep looking back at the regulator. The gauge it was on, it was actually spun around backwards, hitting the needle at zero, on the wrong side of zero, but there wasn't any pressure in it when we first started dealing with this. Owner replaced the gauge on it, but it's not, it just bounces. It just sits there and bounces like this from 1 to 5. And I think that's just because of the rumble of the engine. It is a 489 with headers and everything. So that's why I keep going back to the regulator. Plus, this regulator, from the drawings that I have looked at and how I understand it's supposed to work, you should set screw down, it pushes the spring down, it pushes the diaphragm, which has got the needle, which pushes the ball valve, and it's supposed to open. You unscrew it, it releases the tension on that, and that ball valve snaps shut. Well, if I cinch it down, it gives no fuel. If I let it off, it gives fuel. We don't know how much. I understand. You know, I'm supposed to have like 5.5 to 6.5 pounds on the E85. I know they're fickle. I talked to a machinist buddy of mine in Nebraska over the Facebook pages, and I learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot. Anyhow, that's the toe stumper for the day. If anybody's got anything, holler at me. Shit, call me. I don't care. I'm just stumped, and I want to give this guy a good bill of health and send him down the road, and I don't know how at this juncture. Wow, new stuff. So a few of you have looked at a project I went and perused for an older gentleman. This guy just blows me away. He's got a 67 Mercedes SL, 230 SL. Well, inline 6 mechanical fuel injected. He pulled it into the garage that it sits in now, the winter of 93, 94. And there it sat. I found everything. I found everything except for the assembly manual. And even the owner's on the look for that. He actually called the dealership where he bought it in 1967. He bought the car. Somebody had it for like a few months. It was leased. I don't know the whole story around it. But it was a 1967 model in 1967. And he traded his 1965 for it. Just mind-blowing. He wants to restore it for his daughter. It's not a small feat, folks. This is probably the largest budget build this will be the largest budget build I've dealt with so far. But it'll be turnkey. What we can't refurb, we'll find new. So we'll see about that. Because things are lean, car lot work and everything else has been sparse, which is what pays the general monthly bills. And we're at crisis point right now. I reached out and, well, the last time I dealt with this fella, I was 14. I was snatched up by the collar, about to get thumped in the nose before my dear sweet sister intervened. This would have been my kid brother's dad, my stepdad at the time, or father, I guess. He was never really a whole lot of a dad. Anyhow, the man builds industrial machinery, cook ovens, spray booths, cool down booths. And when I say he builds them, he sets up the blueprints, makes the modifications specific for the client, has the steel brought in, and has somebody build them. Again, we've hit crisis mode, and I'm not just going to leave Jeremy high and dry and run off. I can't do that. I can't leave the 2 restorations we absolutely have going on right now as a weekender project or something like that and go find other vocation. I just can't bring myself to do that. But it may turn into a couple days a week. Jeremy and I go out and break and chop steel and bust out levels and squares and manufacture some industrial machinery. That would be a good thing for us right now. Just something more, something steady. I can be honest, if I can get steady work like that pays well enough, fuck the car lot work. I'll turn them down, because I've been doing anything that comes in. Sway bar links, transmission oil pans, oil changes, brakes. I've been doing service work again just to keep stuff moving along. I'm not like, oh, poor me, woe is me, but I'm looking around. It's crisis mode everywhere, and this in particular is how I'm dealing with it. And I hope you all out there are faring well, and if you aren't, you're flexible and adjusting well. But yeah, I mean, that's really where the week the week at large is at. Monty is, I think, a day of cutting away from going back together. I'm excited. I'm like a giddy, like a schoolgirl. We got the quarters. We got the trunk pan. We've had the trunk pan, but we got the quarters. We got the fenders straightened out enough to get them. We got them in slick sand. There's going to be more body work on them, no doubts, but we got the primary concerns taken care of. And it got to a point with so many colors and steel and so forth that we just had to get them in slick sand and get moving on them. I'm going to try like hell by Wednesday to have substantial completion of metalwork. If I can't, then we're not going to make our deadline. Manufacturer gig for the pickup accessories is coming along slowly. Kent works a full-time job, and I've just been hung up on a bunch of little bullshit this week. I work on his stuff as I can, and what I'm doing is I'm building shop fixtures for his apparatus as I go. So it's taken forever to build the first production model. But in all, that's kind of where we're at, folks. So you go out there, have a great Father's Day. Do the family and kids thing. Man, family first, always. And at this point, we've collected just over 200 subscribers, and that blows me away. Oh, we're getting hit like 1,000 views a week, and that's from where I started to where I'm at now. It's mind blowing to me, and I owe all of you for that. And I definitely want to end this with a heartfelt thank you, everybody, for all your input, even the negative Nancy's out there. Input's input. I don't generally dignify negative statements with comments. Unless it's really abrasive, I don't think I'll ever delete any negative comments. I allow people to be entitled to their opinions. That's the week in Smith Welding Restoration. That's the week in my little life, my little world. Street Rodder, he got himself some new wheels. I think we're going to have to start calling him Rice Rodder. Sad deal. He had to relinquish his car to the great state of California. Man, oh man. But there's some good stuff going on, folks. Stick around, hang out, kind of watch what's going on. You just never know what's going to roll through that door. Look at the variety of things we've got to do in the last couple weeks. And it's going to get weirder as, we've got a full year under our belt. We're in the middle of, quote, the second year now. And things are just going to get stranger and neater from here. If the manufacturing gig pays out well and Kent's pickup accessory picks up and takes off like it's supposed to, I'll have to hire a hand to build those. And we'll get to move in the next whenever. But I've already decided, I want to move so I've got room. So we can bring something in and cut it up and make a full custom, really is my aim. I got a couple cars I want to drag in of mine and set aside where I can work on them on downtime. But I need the space to do all this. We've got a rotisserie to make, and so the big goal here is I'm going to build the rotisserie. I'm going to build some shop fixtures. We'll buy some more shop fixtures. I'd like to get a TIG welder, a brake, a bead roller, and a big stand-up throatless shear, and really basically be busting at the seams where we're at. We are already busting at the seams, but make it a situation where we can't even possibly use half the shit we've got stashed away. Start working on countertop sections and cabinetry sections. That way when we do move, we just go in and start dropping equipment in place and roll on, instead of having a big, empty open building. The goal is have it where we can tear down 3 cars complete. That way we can have a shop project, i.e. one of my cars, one of Jeremy's cars. We're going to build him a car. I can guarantee you this, I get to where I've moved and I can establish a corporation around my little company. Jeremy owns part of the company. He's put in the grunt work, the labor, the effort beyond, it surpasses, what I can ask of. He's earned a, voting share of stock, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I get it where I can tear down 3 cars, have a bay for insy outsies, just quick stuff, the car lot stuff, or whatever. We do our own stuff if we need to do an oil change or something. a metal fabricating room that's isolated, and a paint booth. Those are really what I want to have. And a storage facility, have like a tool crib. So we just have the tools in one area. We go in with the service cart and roll our shit out. That in a perfect world would be it, you know, and preferably a clean room for building engines and carburetors. That's like a closet, you know. Oh shit. But this is dragging on. I'm gonna wrap it up. That's our goals, though. I mean, we can do that with 3,000 feet. Perseverance. The channel name, Per Durabo. I have it tattooed across my shoulders even. It's Old Latin, to endure through. I've never been one to give up. Even through a bad marriage, it took the ex-wife to kick me out before I gave up on it. I do what I can to make things work. I think it's more flaw than it is anything else, but sometimes you just gotta know when to fold it up. Interesting stuff going on around here. I'll get some shots of my aunt's car, my pickup that I got from her. Just cool shit, guys. Stay tuned, stick around, take care.